What is going on, everyone? And we are back. Welcome back to episode 8 of the Full Court Press with Nick of Sleeper Sports and me, Coach Ed of Coach Ed's Amazing World. Thank you all for tuning in, coming back with us. We know that it's been a little hiatus, with the Olympics. There was a little break going on. So basically now the WNBA is coming back, and here we are. We're coming back. So, but thank you for everyone for still rocking with us, for being patient with us, for loving the WNBA and everything associated with it. So, but before we really get into the show, I want to touch with my man Nick. How you doing, brother?
Good. How are you? I'm great. Got my finally got a piece of
Mm-hmm.
Fever WNBA merch. Was in a Dick's Sporting Goods the other day and picking up sunglasses for a buddy of mine. I was like, what can I spend my money on that I don't need to be spending my money on? And then sure enough, I walk over and I saw this, and then I saw a hoodie, and I'm like, it's not quite hoodie weather yet here in PA, so I'll wait to go back to get that one. But I'm good. Enjoyed the break and watched a little bit of the Olympics and heard about it around the office more
Mm-hmm.
so than actually watching it. But how have you been?
I've been great, man. Just, taking it one step at a time. Of course, I loved everything about the Olympics. It was breathtaking, all the events. And then, of course, the basketball down to the wire,
Yep.
even with, the United States eventually tying China in gold medals. But again, the United States dominated in overall medals. So, but the basketball, phenomenal, man. So it was great. So, but yes, but let's tap into the chat real quick before we really dive into the show. Daniel Berry, what's up, brother? Thanks for tapping in and always being here. Always a good supporter. Yeah, exactly. Shout out to Blaze. Happy birthday, brother. I know you're going to be probably popping in the chat. So, hope you're having a great one. If you don't, exactly, Chad. What's up, man? Thanks for being here.
What's up, Chad?
What's up to Nick? Daniel, we already saw. So, and Martina, thanks for being here. I really appreciate you. Mitch, the point guard of the whole Hardcore Sports Network. I really appreciate you tapping in. What's up, Wesley? Man, thanks for being here. Really appreciate you. And everyone, we thank you all for being here. Really appreciate you guys. Also, make sure you guys like this episode, like it on Nick's channel, like it on the Hardcore Sports Network, Next Shift Randy, as well as my channel. We really appreciate it. Make sure you guys, if you're new, subscribe and hit the notification so you know when we post new content. And everyone, share on all social media platforms, man. We really appreciate it. So, but again, thank you, everyone. So, with the WNBA coming back from the break, the Olympic break, the second half has started to kick off. Right now you're going to have teams. I think with the return, most of it is roughly about 15 games, 16 games tops. I think. For this final stretch run, and teams are really fighting in for the playoff positioning. We'll go over that in a little bit, but how do you feel that things are, going to start to play out with this second phase?
Well, I would say that the teams that had the gauntlet part of the schedule, their scheduling wise in the first half,
Mm-hmm.
the Indiana Fever, to be exact, with what they started out 1-8 and then went. I think they went like 11-7 down the stretch for that part,
Mm-hmm.
and it just the rest, it was already showing with Caitlin whenever in the two of the first games back or so. So I'm just excited to see teams that had a tougher first half have maybe an easier second half of the season. Just
Mm-hmm.
also to see the rookies in this rookie class really get a taste of the full, their first full season, and then go from the break in the middle and then go into their second half and then hopefully a playoff run. for Caitlin Clark, for Angel Reese, and the other rookies. Not Cam Brink, sadly, but maybe the Sparks can make a fight for it and get her used to that atmosphere. So whenever she does come back, and she can get a taste of it herself. But just the that second half push and into what comes after the second half.
No, that's a really really great point. Especially with this class, because it's they talked about this class being one of the better ones. There's debates on who's best, but with this second phase, these rookies are starting to get an understanding of the WNBA. Coming from college, you're playing more games on a weekly basis.
Yep.
And then the length of everything. So yes, that's a very good point. So, right now, teams are, some teams are fighting for player positioning and, but my question to you is, who do you think is positioned well to make a championship run?
I mean, it's got to be your Liberty sitting pretty up top at that one spot, and then surprisingly, I was still expecting the Fever to be at that 7 and 8 spot, but they've jumped up to 6 in the last seedings that you had sent in the group with the outline for tonight. Connecticut making a strong hold on that 3 spot, and the one that surprises me is Vegas is falling to the 4-5 spot in there, and then Seattle kind of in the middle, and then Atlanta sneaking in at that 8, which is going to be interchangeable, like we've said in the last episode, probably whenever we were going over 7-8 is going to be fighting with that bottom 4 of the field, and then the 6 and 5 can be interchangeable, but also fighting for that 4. So it's like we can group them in 3 to 4 teams or so. So but the Liberty, I noticed that they're playing right now, so I can notice that you're checking it and everything like that. So just that final fight to just like baseball right now, the Yankees and Orioles are just every game seems like they're flip flopping. Every day I see the Yankees are up top, the Orioles are up top. Now the Liberty, they got to just run away with it, as all the teams do. So.
No, I feel you with that. In terms of hold on, sorry. In terms of who I think will make a strong championship run, because you gave a great synopsis of playoff positioning. But when I take a look at who I think is going to make that run, of course, yes, I think the Liberty are going to try and fight to make a run to the championship. Connecticut, Minnesota, Vegas right now, they're still there. They're the heart of a champion. They're the 2-time defending champions. So I have to include them. And to be honest with you, Seattle's like right on that outskirt to make that championship run. Now getting Gabby Williams, I want to see what's going to happen, how she helps impact that team, because Gabby we saw what she did in the Olympics. She played phenomenally. So can she help elevate them? So, those are the teams that I'm thinking, can make a championship run, once we get to the playoff round. So, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a dogfight going, down the wire. So, and I'm excited to sit back and watch, what goes on in reference to that. So, and I was taking a look earlier, doing some research, and I sent you the breakdown. But the Athletic gave their thoughts on who they project to make the playoffs. So I'm going to share that with everyone. So let me know when you got my screen.
Yep.
Oops, sorry, wrong one. There we go. And here we go. So, this is through the Athletic. So this is their playoff projection. But here's who they are projecting to make the team. They figure Atlanta at 8, Phoenix at 7, Indiana at 6, Seattle at 5, Vegas at 4, Connecticut at 3, Minnesota at 2, and New York at 1. So, and Minnesota is playing some good ball right now. So, it wouldn't surprise me. Like I said, I want to see what happens with Seattle with Gabby Williams. Can they make a push to catch Vegas, to surpass Vegas? Because Vegas, they're in a little downswing right now. But I still don't count them out. And Connecticut with the trade with Mabry, how
Yeah.
does that impact them? So now the thing that surprised me though, but when I sit back and I think about it, is Atlanta at 8. But that's more of because Chicago is falling off, and I
Yeah.
think that Mabry trade is going to hurt them more than anything. So um, but yeah, Atlanta, they can sneak in, and they're sneaky tough. They're sneaky good. Ryan Howard, if she gets going, Tina Charles is playing phenomenally. She's now the number 2 scoring leader in all WNBA history. So they have some talent down there, that what they could probably surprise someone, make a push. Do I think they can make a playoff? I mean, a strong playoff run? I don't know. But it is something that you have to pay attention to, and you have to respect what they can do and what they can bring to the table. So, but what's your thoughts in reference to this lineup, especially Atlanta on the back end?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Chicago kind of fallen off a little bit, having a rough start back to. I haven't seen. I know they did win a game,
Mm-hmm.
some game back, and I think they lost another one by 19 or 20-ish something points. And
Mm-hmm.
I know people were starting to have that conversation again of, well, Angel Reese is and her rebounds streak continued or whatever, but her team lost by 20. That's what was being linked to it whenever she
Mm-hmm.
had the game back and continued it. Meanwhile, like I can make that argument, and that argument exists that Caitlin Clark might have a lot of turnovers. It's comparing turnovers and whatever, but she's still helping her team win games in the second half that matter. So I can see
Mm-hmm.
the Chicago things have changed with the Mabry trade, and just it's going to take a lot for Angel Reese, I think, to maybe put that team on her back and try to make something happen along with the rest of that young team. But yeah, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta is, like you said, very sneaky, and they can get in there. And I mean, they're now, according to the Athletic, and I still see that 8, flip flopping back and forth, and throughout the rest of this second half of the season. And just
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for that fight of the 8 with the rest of the 4 other teams. And then I mean, just the fight of all the teams, Minnesota fighting New York for a one, Connecticut and Vegas doing, flip flopping 3 and 4, Seattle kind of maybe staying there right in the middle, and then
Mm-hmm.
Indiana trying to just pull ahead a little bit, and so it's going to be a lot of fun for this first year that I'm going to be able to see some playoff action for the WNBA.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point, and it is, like you said, with Indiana, and Indiana is the one that's really intriguing. When you look at things from the long term, what they can do, in terms of the playoffs, and let's see, they're pretty much what.
I think they have the
Ye-
easiest remaining schedule of the second half.
Yeah, but I'm looking at where they are in overall record. I know Athletic gave the power ranking. Here's the standing. I'm going to give the complete standing right now,
Yeah.
in reference to this, so everyone can understand where where we stand with everything, in turn. And this is just the actual standing. This is not a power ranking, but of course, New York is at 1 at 24-4. Connecticut is at 2 at 20-7. Minnesota is at 3 at 20-8. Seattle is at 4 at 18-10. Vegas is at 5 at 17-10. Phoenix is at 6 at 15-14. Indiana is at 7 at 13-15. Chicago is at 8 at 11-16. Atlanta is at 9 at 10 and 17. Dallas is at 10 at 6 and 21, and the Sparks and the Mystics are both 6 and 22. So they're at 11 and 12 respectively. So with Indiana, I mean, they're a game and a half behind Phoenix. So they're in position well to catch them, and they're behind the Aces. Looks like they're 4.5 behind the Aces, and 5 behind the Seattle Storm. So they're 11 out behind New York. Just to give you a full perspective. So Indiana is in a position, right now in terms of where they are. This very second in terms of playoff seeding. They're at 7. And I know the Athletics said this is their projection for their, playoff positioning. So that's the difference there. Well, and I'm looking at ESPN.com in case anybody wants to follow along. That's where, you have Indiana, like I said, a game and a half behind Phoenix. So, like you said, they have probably one of the easiest schedule going down the wire. So, can they make a strong push to maybe catch Vegas and or Seattle? I mean, that's a big push. I'm going to be honest with you, but anything is possible, man. So, and you make a great point in reference to, their positioning going forward. So, they lost by 20. Chicago lost by 20. Thank you, Martina. What's up?
They lost by 20 is probably the reason the Athletic put Atlanta in that 8 spot, because they are, I mean, right there. I'm looking at the standings, just Google with, just type it in WNBA and seeing the standings there. But I mean, Sky at 11 and 16, the Dream at 10 and 17, they are right there. And I mean, the Dream have won 3 in a row since being back. Sky losing 1. So that 20-point loss, I mean, that's pretty much the feel that I get, that it is going to be throughout the rest of the season. So these teams like the Mystics, they're probably not fighting for much, but besides, playing spoiler, I have that term in football whenever, we go into, it used to be whenever we would go into week 16, 15, 16, and Cleveland or Cincinnati at the end of the year, Steelers fan, playing those two teams at the end of the year. Oh, it's just, they're playing spoiler. So, they would, win, a loss, doesn't matter. Steelers already have whatever that locked up. So that is what a lot of the bottom 4 teams probably are going to be playing for. But 1 through 9 being in that fight for it is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, even on the top end, to be honest with you, Connecticut, Minnesota, they're not far behind New York. So New York can, go on a tailspin, and those teams can even easily catch up to them and surpass them. So, New York actually has a big game on Saturday against Connecticut. So that's going to be a big test right there. Now, so far, New York has beaten them every game the past 2 years. But, Connecticut, especially after this trade, they want to see where they stand. So it's not a easy lock-in for New York, but they have been playing well. They're 9-1 over their last 10. So, they're playing confidently. I mean, I think they're down. Last I looked, I think they were down right now against Dallas. So, but we'll see. I mean, it's still the first quarter. So, but again, it's this playoff run, this closeout. And again, you're getting to a point where, you're 14, 15 games left, and, and once you get down to that last 10, that's when it really amps up. So, if you're the top team, you want to secure your spot so you can start giving, your players some rest. So, and that's going to be what I'm going to be looking for going down the stretch. And then, again, Vegas, are they going to, because where they're positioned right now, right now it's a 5th seed. That means they don't even host a game. They have to travel. So, to start the playoffs. So, do they make a big push? And also, when you make that big push, does it start to take away from you, once you get into the playoffs? So, while other teams may, be able to rest players, they're going to be in a position where, you have to fight for your playoff life. And, that's what they, want to do, being that they're the defending champion. So, and again, to my brother NYG, thanks for tapping in, bro. Really appreciate you. Your girl Camilla and her team, they're fighting it, bro. They're fighting it, man. So, but again, thanks for being here, man. I really appreciate it. So, but yeah, that's the big test right there going down in terms of the playoffs, and that's the fun thing. To me, that's the fun thing in reference to this time. Where teams start to, they got to fight. They got to fight for they got to fight for their life. As the song goes, you got to fight for the right to party. Well, you got to fight for the right to get into the playoffs, man. So, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. So, but right now we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to the games for this week. And I had it up. Where is it? Here we go. In terms of the games for this week, I actually am going to start from Monday. Well, no, I'll go back. I'll go back to where. Oops, why'd you close out on me? Here we go. I'll go back to last Thursday since it is where we just came back from. So, yeah. Last Thursday, you had the Mercury over the Sky. That's that 20-point loss that everyone's talking about. The Lynx over the Mystic. The Liberty over the Sparks. And that was last Thursday. And on Friday, you had the Dream over the Storm in a close one by 2 points. The Fever winning big over the Mercury, a 9-point win. And the Sun over the Wings. And that was a big win for the Sun also. On Saturday, you had the Lynx over the Mystics, the Liberty over the Aces, which was a big game for the Liberty. They won by 12 points. And you had the Sky over the Sparks, which is that kept their playoff position, that kept their playoff hopes alive. Yeah. Now, on Sunday, there was a big win, which is why I think Atlanta is in the position they're in, because they beat Connecticut. They beat Connecticut by 12 points. You had your Fever over the Storm, which is another big win. And then the Aces over the Sparks and the Mercury over the Sky. And that was a 18-point win for them. So there was no games on Monday. And then on Tuesday, you had the Sun over the Sparks. They won by 8 points. The Liberty over the Wings by 20 points. And the Storm over the Mystics. And that was a 6-point win there. And then yesterday, you had the Dream over the Mercury and the Lynx over the Aces. That was a big game, man. That was for Minnesota, and they beat them in Vegas. So, and they pretty much controlled the narrative in that game for Minnesota. They played well defensively, and they pretty much controlled every aspect of that game. So I think they led from start to finish. So, but yeah, it's a big game for Minnesota. And then today, right now, we have the Liberty over the Wings, and that's the only game. The Liberty are up says 22-17. Tomorrow, let's see what we have tomorrow. Come on. You have the Mercury at the Dream. That's at 7:30 on Ion. The Sky at the Sun, also 7:30 on Ion. Guess your local area. The Sparks at the Mystic, 7:30 on Ion. And the Lynx at the Aces. The Aces at the Lynx. And that's at 9:30 on Ion. I think I'm streaming that game also tomorrow evening. So definitely going to be up for that one. So Saturday, you have the Liberty hosting the Sun, 7 o'clock on Saturday. You have your Fever going to the Lynx. So that's a big game. That's it.
That one. I'm going to be, there's no, thankfully WWE and Bash in Berlin is next weekend, and AEW All In is on Sunday. So I will be able to be all eyes on that big game for the Fever. Hopefully Caitlin can, like I said, just put together a run for the Fever and be able to watch her do her thing whenever it matters most.
And, well, that game I think is on NBA TV at 8 o'clock on Saturday. So for those who want to definitely tune in, there you go. I don't see it. Yeah, it doesn't say ESPN or anything. So I'm used to them usually being on the national telecast. So um, you have on Sunday the Aces at the Sky. That's at noon on Sunday on CBS. And then the Sparks are at the Wing at 4 o'clock on NBA TV. So figure most people will probably, if they have time, want to check out the Aces. And that's going to be a big test for them. Also for Chicago, man.
Yeah.
They don't want to keep dropping games. So Monday, you have your Fever at the Dream on NBA TV, 7:30 tip-off. You have the Liberty at the Mercury, 10 o'clock on Monday. That is on NBA TV. It'll be local on here. And the Mystic at the Storm at 10 o'clock. So I'm going to try and see if I got to look at my schedule, see what's going on. Maybe I can cover the Liberty and the Mystics. We'll see. On Tuesday, the Aces are at the Wing, 8 o'clock on NBA TV. That's the only game on Tuesday. And on Wednesday, looks like we have a full load. The Sun are at the Fever, NBA TV, 7 o'clock tip-off. At 8 o'clock, you have the Mystic at the Sky. At 10 o'clock, you have the Liberty at the Sparks, NBA TV. You have the Lynx at the Mercury at 10 o'clock. And then you have the Atlanta Dream at the Seattle Storm also at 10 o'clock by next Wednesday. So, that's going to be the listing of games, for the upcoming week. So the Fever have some very interesting games, untapped. So, it's going to be very interesting. Like I said, a lot of playoff implications there with a lot of these teams. Yeah, you I know you love her, Brazil. Yes, Brazil. Shout out to Jeffy T. Rest in heaven, my boy. And yeah, a lot of sports this weekend. You're right, Martina. For those who don't, you even have college football. Florida State kicks off at 12 o'clock on Saturday. So, you have college football. I'm sorry?
Dublin, Ireland. Pat McAfee.
Yes.
Him and Seamus. I'm sure they're going to do the Pat McAfee show from over there. I would assume they would do it in some fashion. But they are going to be over there. Seamus is the celebrity guest picker for the week one there. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Exactly. It's going to be a busy weekend, man. WNBA, you have NFL, the final preseason games. Before you got to go into cut down, baseball, there's always going to be baseball. So, it's a lot. And, I don't know the wrestling scene. So I don't know if you have wrestling this weekend. So
Sunday, AEW's on Sunday. They're over in London right now. So they have a pay-per-view in Wembley.
Okay.
The aggressive is barking.
Okay. Let's see. Liberty are up 25-17 right now, second quarter. So just a quick update. So, but those are the games of the week. That's coming up. So again, like I said, it's going to be very interesting. A lot going on in reference to that. So I'm excited, with a lot of these games. Like I said, I'm trying to see what I can do, what I can cover. I know I'm covering that Minnesota and Aces game tomorrow. So, it's going to definitely be an exciting one tomorrow. So, but in some interesting and exciting news for you and your Fever, Caitlin Clark breaks the rookie assist record that was held by Tina Penicheiro, going all the way back to, I believe it was 98? I believe it was 1998 that she
thought maybe 98 or 96, I think I saw.
97 is when the WNBA first started.
Probably 98 then.
Yeah. So I think it was 98. Tina Penicheiro broke the record. So, but that's a long-standing record, and for her to do it, and again, she broke it before the end of the season, so she's going to add on to that. So, but what's your take on that, man?
I mean, just from the minute that she was drafted, she was said that she was excited to play with players like Aaliyah Boston and be able to
Mm-hmm.
use her passing ability to get her teammates to score and her not have to score as much. I mean, obviously she can whenever she needs to, and probably had a couple games where she should have had the chance to score, and maybe we wouldn't be in this, the sixth spot. We'd be up for whatever it is. But just being able to see her be able to do more for her team and not just hit deep threes from the parking lot, or
Mm-hmm.
and just be able to just the way she sees the game develop and the pace of it. I mean, everything about her game is just fun to watch, and her getting the rookie assist record, just, I mean, pretty much to me, to a lot of people, a lot of Fever fans, a lot of just fans in general, solidifies her as rookie of the year with just that and how many other records that she has already set. Her being the face of this class, her and Angel
Mm-hmm.
Reese being the faces of this class, and what Angel is doing is great, but it's not. It's her stats are her, and Caitlin's stats are helping the team win games. That is keeping them alive, and in the middle of the pack, lower middle of the pack, to be able to have that cushion if they were to lose a game or two here and there, and going down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, it's number one, like I said earlier, for her to get that record, that's an amazing thing. It's something that's been in effect for such a long time. So, for her to break it, first of all, congratulations to her. But it shows the impact that she has had on this game. So there's always been the controversy, from veterans, having a little sense of, you know. I don't want to say animosity towards her, but
Yeah.
you know what?
Yeah.
They're look, you have this rookie coming in and they're making it seem like she's the reason why the WNBA is in existence. And I do understand that feeling, but you know what? In the same token, you know what? You come in and you just, she's pretty much for the most part kept the nose to the ground. Yeah, there's those moments when she speaks out, but who doesn't in the WNBA?
I
You
believe
know.
she has five techs already this season, I think
Mm-hmm.
it
Mm-hmm.
was. I caught the second half of their game the other night, and I think one of the announcers was saying if she gets seven, she'll be suspended for a game. So,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
which is something I'm picking up, given that this is my first year watching the WNBA and everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, her, whenever she was getting that welcome to the W type of,
Mm-hmm.
push from the veterans and the refs and whatever else. I mean, it took a minute for her to let it just play out and just go out there and just do her thing. But of course, she's still going to be, just, show that the emotion and the way that she plays and everything like that. So I mean, the Techs are what they are, and
Mm-hmm.
5 on the season is what it is. So
And thank you for tapping in, Charles, man. I always appreciate your support, man. You're a great, great follower of the hardcore sports network, man. So, yeah, you're right, Martina. They did breathe life into the league. They brought eyes to the league, and off of a great college atmosphere and year. So, I get it. And to the veterans, who were there, to some extent, you can always make the argument, well, you guys could have, continued and, expanded and brought energy to the league in a sense. But I'm not saying they didn't fully, but you know what? It's also perception is reality,
yeah,
and the media is a big proponent in, bringing that elevation. So, and instead of, in a sense, hating on it, embrace it and ride it, because you need each other to, continue to grow the sport, and that's just the reality, of trying to build the sport. I mean, I've been there since day one. I've watched it since day one, and I'm not saying there hasn't been some exciting basketball. There always has been, I mean, I still remember Teaspoon with that half court shot in the playoffs against Houston, man, to at least keep them in the championship game. They won that game last minute. I mean, again, Lisa Leslie, getting the first dunk in the WNBA. You know, I mean, you can sit here and, as a fan, I can sit here and I can think about it. I mean, I can remember watching Dawn Staley, who now is one of the elite coaches in women's college basketball, in all of college basketball for that matter.
Yeah.
But I remember her playing for, UVA, and then coming into the WNBA, playing for a team called the Charlotte Sting, which is no longer here. So I mean, I could sit here and go on and on. I'm talking about a lot of the great ones, who have been there, see the ups and the downs, with this league. So, this group, this rookie class, yes, they brought eyes to the league. And a lot of people are starting to see, you know what, this is a good product. So, it's not just women playing basketball. These are basketball players who are very skilled, who are going out there and playing at a high level. And at times, I'm sorry, they're better than the men. I would prefer to watch them because of their fundamentals. They're not always trying to sky and, jam it all the time. They're moving, they're setting screens, they're being physical. Yes, they're hitting the open shot, they're passing the ball. A lot of things, where in the men's game, you get a lot of guys who want to go one-on-one.
Yep.
Which takes away, but I'm sorry, you were about ready to say something. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, just from now, I watched the NBA from like 2012 through 2016, 17, when LeBron was on his run with the Cavs, with the Heat, back and forth. And then just watching 1 year of the WNBA, that was the first thing that I noticed was how physical it was, and the differences that way. And then just seeing, specifically seeing the physical part to Caitlin, and even Angel at times, and everything like that. But I mean, it is very, very cool to see, just because I started following more so Caitlin towards the tail end of her Iowa career, and what they did, taking the first game to the Iowa football stadium and everything like that. I mean, I've been to Penn State women's games. I've been to a couple pink outs, and it's fun. It was fun there, but that was just me being a Penn State fan and just going to a Penn State with my dad, with my sister's friend, and just being able to go up there for the weekend. Just Penn State college environment is so different than a pro sports environment. I've never been to a WNBA game, so I know the Fever, they play in Washington towards the end of the year, so might be eyeballing some tickets there. But I mean, just excited to see where we're at now, and then with expansion, Toronto, Golden State, and then potentially 2-4 more teams within the next couple of years. Maybe North Carolina does go and get a team. Really would be awesome to just see it continue to grow, and I mean, everything. Like, I have younger cousins that my youngest cousin watches it, and every time I see her, I'm like, oh, Caitlin did this, Caitlin did that, and then she's like telling me what else she saw, she did see, and everything like that. So it's just a lot of fun to get into it right now, because it is on the up. So yeah.
Man, Cave, what's up, bro? Appreciate you. Yeah, Martina, the North Carolina, Charlotte did have a basketball team back in the day, the Charlotte Sting. They were a little feisty bunch. Almost mimicked the old Charlotte Hornets back in the day. So, but yeah, and again, there have been several teams. The Houston Comets. I mean, they had a series where they won back-to-back championships. So, and that's where you had some of the elite, Cheryl Swoops, Tina Thompson. So I mean, even Dawn Staley played there too for a little bit. So, but yeah, there's always been some good, WNBA action. So, and it's something that, I definitely appreciate. But, we were talking about the rookie class anyway. We were talking about Caitlin, but there's also Angel Reese. She's not to be left out. She has a new partnership with Reese's. Yes. So, I mean, and it's a beautiful thing, and it's well-deserved, and it's a great marketing pitch. I just love that concept. So, I mean, and you're going to see, Reese's really capitalize on Angel, especially what she's doing this year, killing it with double doubles. People want to talk about her game, and she doesn't have a jump shot, but she's out there balling. She's banging with people who are bigger than her, and she's producing. You could sit here and say, oh, she throws shots up and then goes and gets her own rebounds, but that's the point.
Yeah.
And what most people don't understand, there was somebody in the NBA who was a master of that. And he's in the Hall of Fame. He's called Moses Malone. He will sit there and he will throw the ball up, let it hit, and he will do that on purpose to get rebounds and then go score points. So, it's not like she's doing something that is unprecedented. If one of the greats, it was doing this, and I used to watch Moses Malone do this, so if she's not doing anything that hasn't been done in the men's game. So, go ahead, do your thing, and kill it. And you know what? If she does get a jump shot, all that's going to do is elevate her game. And because she's a dog on the as a rebounder. So, but I love the fact that, her and Reese's are partnering up, and it will just, for Reese's, hey, that's a great smart marketing tool. So it's going to do nothing but help their brand and their product grow. And then for her, hey, it's going to also probably introduce her to even a bigger group of fans that are out there. So, but need to bring the Sacramento bar. Yeah, no, I agree with you, Man Cave. That's where Tina Penachero was with Sacramento Monarchs. I mean Griffins. I mean, it was so many talented players out there, and they played that fast type of style, up and down the court. So, and the Comet were just amazing, man. They were just truly bred to be a championship caliber organization, top to bottom. So, but just a quick update. In the second quarter, a little bit over a minute and a half left. New York is up 33-30 on Dallas. So, Arike Gumabali, she has 11 points already in the first half. So, good game, tight game. Dallas is really fighting. Oh, so, Brianna shot an air ball. Okay. And NYG Reese's with a jump shot is crazy, bro. She could be an MVP. Yes, exactly, bro. I mean, that's what's so amazing. So, with her getting a jump shot, and then that will help Cardosa, because it'll pull, because right now those two, it's bringing congestion to the lane, and that's what I think is hurting Chicago right now, is they don't have a consistent outside shooter. And then also Carter has been out right now. So that's also another reason why, you're starting to see them, fickle down a little bit. So, Satu Sabli got a and one front on her German teammate, Leona Fiebisch. So, good shot. So, but yeah, I mean, that's the beauty, and that's why I love the WNBA. I love the fact that people are starting to pay attention to the women's game and give it the respect that it's due. So kudos to Reese's for jumping in there and capitalizing on that on that opportunity. So she missed the and one. So New York bringing the ball up court, and Stewie with the layup, and she missed it. Okay. So next thing we're going to talk
real quick on the Angel Reese thing. It was funny. She had tweeted that back in June, said, "Hey, Reese, like, where are you at?" And then they just now replied, said, "Oh, we're waiting anytime, whatever." So it's going to be cool to see what that includes. I think she had merch dropping yesterday whenever the news finally broke that she did sign that sponsorship. But Hershey, Pennsylvania is right in my backyard. So the second she is coming to Hershey, going to Hershey Park or the chocolate factory where there's a ride that takes you through it and all, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there and try to get a picture with her, whatever in any sense, try to get up there. And my friend Hunter from Apple's Grace Media, he made that point that maybe she's going to come and do something involving in Hershey. And I mean, that would be cool to see. And in Hershey, PA, the Giant Center, if they can somehow manage to maybe not get a team, but maybe have a game played in the Giant Center. I mean, that would be, the Sky and the Mystics, since I guess that would be the closest two teams, or if they eventually get
you can also have New York go there.
That's true. I guess that wouldn't be too crazy far, but I mean, get a team in Philly or shoot for Hershey to go get a team. I know it's a very, very small market, but I mean, Hershey is a passionate sports town. They got the Bears, who just won back-to-back Calder Cups. So, I mean, let the Giant Center get a little bit more usage out of it. And I mean, Angel Reese, I mean, could be their way into the WNBA. I would love it, absolutely, because I mean, like I said, my backyard. So give me a chance.
Exactly. That would be a great look right there. So when it could open up the door, like you said, to even to Philadelphia. And if you do get a picture, make sure you mention what we do. And it'd be great if she would come on and give us an interview. So
man, I'm going to be trying. The second it's announced, or if it's rumored or a sighting, I would do my best to get to Hershey, because like I said, it's backyard. It's 30 to 45 minutes depending on the traffic. So
got you.
I'll be there.
Definitely. So keep us updated on that. So, but Indiana will be hosting the 2025 All-Star Game. So, that's good for Indiana. Everyone will be there in the league, trying to capitalize on that. So, and how are you feeling about that?
They announced it the day after, there was this graphic that I saw that had all the different stats and what the Fever specifically have done this year, numbers wise, from viewership, from attendance, from everything you could imagine. And then it broke that they would be hosting the All-Star Game. So, and it's crazy because 2025 was going to be a big year for Indiana sports wise in general. The Royal Rumble is going there. They just announced a partnership with the WWE to bring the Rumble, to bring SummerSlam, to bring WrestleMania, and I believe Survivor Series as well, to Indiana, and be at Lucas Oil Stadium. So you got to think maybe they're going to bring in, representatives of the WWE to it to promote their stuff with it. You got to think Pat McAfee is going to be there, given that he does have season tickets, even though he just said on his show yesterday that he was told to not talk about Caitlin Clark and the WNBA because he's dumb is what they told him. So a little shade thrown to ESPN that way, and maybe him regretting probably signing and putting his stuff onto ESPN and having bosses in that sense. But I love it. I love Indiana hosting the All-Star Game. Is going to be a lot of fun to see Caitlin Clark being the face of their marketing for that point. And then, whoever they get in the draft, wherever they land, and bringing in, the next rookie class. And it's just going to be a lot of fun to see Indiana have that big buzz around it for the WNBA, given that it's such a big sports town.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's great, plus, bringing all the stars there, and look, we just saw, before the Olympics with the All-Star versus the U.S. team, how exciting that game was, so, imagine an All-Star game in Indiana, small market, everything's right there. I mean, from what I've been told, literally it's within 5-6 blocks, all around, you can get to things walking. So, that would be a great event for Indiana, for the Fever itself. So, and you know what? Especially if they make the playoffs this year, that's going to be, it's something that, could help them and inspire them going into next year. So, kudos to the league for, look, WNBA is being smart. They're capitalizing on, this marketing opportunity,
Absolutely.
which, it's going to draw fans to Indiana to go see, especially off of the year that she's having right now. So, and if her and Angel Reese, and then next year with Paige coming in, it's like it's going to open up so much more for the women's game, and it's going to draw more fans in, and help grow the game. We have I think it's Golden State next year that's coming into the league, so that's going to be the additive to it. So with that Northern California market recapturing in that market. So I like it. I appreciate it. Do I wish it was in New York City? Of course, but I also am realistic to what it does to the league. Because it hits the heartland in a sense. So that's a good thing. So and that can only help the league grow. So I definitely appreciate it. So and like I said, kudos to the league for capitalizing on this opportunity. So but next subject is going to be a not so friendly one, but it's something that needs to be talked about, and that's dealing with the Aces head coach Becky Hammon and her dilemma. Not just her, but it's the WNBA. But the reports that have come out now, she has stated that that's not true. But for those who don't know, the story is that Dearica Hamby, who is with the Los Angeles Sparks right now, having an all-star year, was in the 3-on-3, won a gold medal there. She was with the Aces, and she got pregnant. And supposedly she was asked by Hammond, was this planned? And she said no. And, my understanding is, she should have taken measures to, make sure that she's protected and do what she needs to do, because they need her on the basketball court, and then ultimately this, because of the contentious atmosphere that rose from it, she was traded off to Los Angeles, and they were saying Los Angeles is, based on their record and where they were going to be, as a quote unquote punishment, and the league was supposedly investigated and didn't find any, any wrongdoings on the Aces. So, and they were, I believe she was being pushed to come back a little bit earlier from maternity, if I remember correctly. So, what do you have?
Yeah, I saw a thread of this whenever it was the big news of the day. I didn't read too much into it just because I was, on a break from everything, and wrestling picked up and whatever else. But I saw a thread of it and just read a little bit of it, piece by piece. And I saw something that said that she was still working out and actively playing basketball to what her doctors allowed her to do. So when I saw that, I was shocked, and I was like, wow, that's a crazy thing to come out now after the trade already happened. And but I saw that she was doing everything that she could, and then it was just a weird, odd situation to come up now, given that it was some time ago now.
No, it's this thing about it is it's always been there, and Hamby has been fighting it. I believe there was also if I'm remembering correctly, because I was trying to research it. It started with dealing with monies, if I'm not mistaken, or something to that effect. And Hamby was a key member of that first championship team. She was, so, and for them to ship her off, because she got pregnant, because that's the feeling that I'm getting. She was shipped off because she got pregnant, which
Right.
you know what. That you shouldn't be doing that, especially in the WNBA of all places. You shouldn't be treating someone because they get it happens. People women get pregnant. It's not like she went to and had I'm stumbling away. IV, I think it's called IV pregnancy. She, whatever.
Yeah.
That happens. And, you have contingency plans where they can take maternity leave and do what they need to do and then come back, you know. But I also think, Hammond, because this was her first year, and she wanted to set because of all the years that she was waiting in the NBA, and she wanted to win a championship and she wanted to prove herself. I get that, but you don't push your players like that,
Yeah.
if that's true, So my thing is, if it's true, then she should have all type of recourse, in terms of, if it's compensation, whatever the case may be. And if Hammond did go over and beyond where she's supposed to be, then there should be consequences towards her. Now again, if this neutral investigation shows that, what, there really wasn't anything, then Hamby has to let that go. She has to let it go, because the WNBA did their investigation, and now you're doing a neutral investigation. So in that regard, you got to be, look, you may have your feelings, you may have your thoughts, but sometimes we get emotional and we become blind to the truth sometimes. I know I do. I admit it. So, but hopefully it'll work its way out, and the truth will ultimately come out, and we won't see something like this in the WNBA, because it takes away from what's going on right now.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to talk about this, but we have to talk about it because it's relevant with what's going on in the WNBA. But it takes away. I'd rather talk about the rookie versus a veterans debate, stuff like that. That's basketball.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to talk about this. Women's right. They have a right to their bodies, then do whatever they want. It's their body. And if she got pregnant, you respect it. As far as an organization, you give her all the support that she needs. And when she's ready to come back, come back. And going forward, I also think that other teams, they're going to be cautious, even if they want to trade a player, but now it's going to be like, okay, well, let's not do it, because you don't want to go through what happened with Las Vegas. So, but we'll see. So, and the final topic is, I was Googling, I found it interesting. I was reading an article where they were talking about Satu Sabali. She's going to be one of the top free agents. I mean, yes, you're going to have Breanna Stewart out there and players like that, but there's going to be certain players that are going to be core players, and that's what I'm going to be watching with Satu. Is Dallas going to core her? And for those who don't know what core is, it's kind of like what football does with the franchise tag. They're part of the core, so they can only negotiate with that team. But if she's and I'm trying to research if she's she's eligible not to be cored. I'm not sure. That's why when I saw the article today, I was just like, oh, well, that's a good story to talk about. But I don't believe she is eligible to be cored. But if she is, then okay, she's going to be with Dallas. But if she isn't, she's going to be heavily sought after. And I can see a lot of teams. I can even see, the Vegas trying to get her and convince her to come over there. A lot of the top teams. So, and here's a little hint, a little elbow. Her sister plays where? New York. And one of her other international teams for Germany, Vionia Fiebisch, plays for New York. So wow. I'm just saying, if the money is right and you can work it out. But no, do I really think that's going to happen? No, that's the fan of me just wishing. But the reality is, I think that she would be massive for a lot of teams. Even your Indiana Fever. She could be a good fit over there. So, but what's your thoughts on her? If she, if she, was to leave Dallas, what do you think about this topic?
Well, this would be my first taste of seeing a big free agency frenzy in the WNBA. So it'd be interesting to see how it plays out. Learn, like you said, about the core part of it, and similar to the franchise tag and everything like that. And would it be like, what is she trying to test that free agent water and set a precedent of what it's going to be going forward? So whenever from here, and then whenever this rookie class gets to that point in their young careers, I don't know how their rookie contracts are. Is it 3? Is it 4? And then with the option, or so that's going to be. I mean, I'm have to do look into that myself and figure all that out and just keep an eye on it. So it's going to be fun to do that as a newer fan to the league in general, not just the Fever, but yeah, it's going to be. I mean, it's going to be fun to see how it plays out and where see if it can be made into a standard for going forward for the free agency part of the WNBA, especially as they expand. And do they do an expansion draft? Is that what they'll do for?
In the past, they've done an expansion draft. So, but I'm expecting them to do that kind of here. Like the teams are going to, protect XYZ players even before the core. So this way, the teams, the Golden State will have the opportunity to go ahead and grab players. And, I mean, you already know they're going to look at teams like Las Vegas, New York, Minnesota, to grab even players on their back end because they would definitely help, their building their program. So, yeah, there has been. They usually do they do the franchise draft, usually. So
I wonder is this a situation where since we have Golden State next year and then just Toronto the year following that, would they get Toronto a team now? Like, I wonder, because that's gonna be crazy. Just
no, I think you're going to wait till. I think you wait until that they're officially in the league. You don't give them the players now because you're just waiting. Golden State is waiting, so you're not going to jump the gun with them. So
right.
So hey, I mean, I don't know if Satu would go there. I don't know if she would be eligible. So as a free agent, I don't know that aspect. So and that would be interesting if she were to go from Dallas to Golden State. So, she would be the face of that franchise. So, but it would be interesting. So, and I think that she would have a big impact, wherever she lands, and, it's going to be interesting, to watch that, next year, and is she going to team up with, certain players, going forward, and is she about the money or is she about chasing the championship? It's going to be interesting going forward. So, but you have anything else that you want to talk about or add on?
No, I think we covered a good ratio of everything going on, from standings, from playoffs, from the final push in the second half to big moves free agency wise. Touched a little bit on the expansion. Yeah, so good solid first episode back. Can't wait to keep it going and go forward through the rest of the second half of my rookie season as well, just in seeing what Caitlin Clark and the Fever can do, and Angel Reese, and how the whole rookie of the year shakes out, which I'm excited to see and continue to see their rivalry going forward. And then eventually where they get to the point where they can test free agency and one day play together. As Angel Reese said before the All-Star or around All-Star weekend, it would be fun to can play with her again, but outside of the All-Star dynamic. So I'm just excited to see what the rest of, the year after year, in what the WNBA is going to bring.
Thank you, Martina. I really appreciate you. Thanks for being here and rocking with us through this, this show today. So I appreciate you. So what do you got going on, the rest of this week?
Tomorrow it's Friday, and you know what that means. It's Friday Night SmackDown on Fox for a little bit longer. My displeasure with Fox has been very vocal over on SmackDown and the WWE side of things, but we got SmackDown. Martina and I will be back for the SmackDown watch along, and then after that we have our post-bell show where we wrap it up and talk about what went down, what to look forward to, and then we do have a lot of Cody Rhodes slander because he is the leader of the Crybabies, but I'm gonna save that for tomorrow. And all in on Sunday. I'm not going to be covering that too much. I'll probably live post
Mhm.
it just for the fun of it. And then we roll into the next week with the go home shows, Raw and SmackDown, leading into Bash in Berlin for the WWE, and just wrestling is just heating up and staying its pace towards their next big show, which will be over in Saudi Arabia after Bad Blood in October, and many other shows in between, and just a lot of good stuff wrestling wise. And then of course, as football picks up, we'll be get rolling out more Steelers content, and hopefully they have a better season than the last couple.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Okay.
yes, always with the Cody slander, absolutely. No doubt about it, always with the Cody slander. So what about
Okay.
you? What do you got down the pipe? I've been seeing the watch alongs for Rutgers popping up and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, I got quite a bit, and I was just looking at it right now. I'm actually going to have to take it down. Um, that's actually a week from today. I just realized it, and it's a 6 o'clock kickoff, so I'm not going to do that show. So I got, we have the full court press, and
Yep.
that takes precedent right now. I have plenty of Rutgers games to do so, but
Yep.
tomorrow I have my Reading Attack Sports Show, 6 o'clock tomorrow. Then I have the Blacktop Podcast with NYG and Man Cave. And then after that, I'm going to be jumping on, like I said, doing the Aces versus the Minnesota Lynx tomorrow. So busy day tomorrow.
Yep.
Saturday, I have the Liberty and the Sun no halftime coaching adjustment show. We're taking that week off. So I'm going to do that. Maybe I might do do a college football game. Depends on how I feel. I'll take a look and see and look at the schedule. I know there's 4 games tomorrow, so on Saturday. So I'll see. Monday on Sunday I'll have Giants Conversation with NYG and the rest of the Big Blue Crew Sports Network cast. Monday I'll have the Reading Attack Sports Show live. And Tuesday, Heart of the City. Wednesday, Pick and Roll podcast, doing it for the R. And then probably a late night stream with the Big Blue Crew Sports Network talking Giants football. And like I said, I have Rutgers on tap, but I'm taking that down. I just realized the date, so that's my fault. So, and then next Thursday we're back with another full court press.
Yep, that is a very packed end of the month for August into September. Getting even, I'm sure it's going to get even more crazy. I did see one other thing. I saw that October 28th, I believe it's a Monday. It's the perfect. It's the sports equinox. The WNBA, or I don't know if the WNBA will go into that far. I don't know when it ends or anything. But the NBA, the NFL, the NHL are all going to be on at the same time. With a Steeler, actually, I think it's Steelers Giants on that Monday night, and then the other teams, and then obviously wrestling is on there too. So that was interesting. I saw that earlier today. And also one last thing for me, and then we can close it out. My co-host on SmackDown and Postbell, big wrestling fan, wrestling content out the wazoo on Twitter and YouTube. Martina Talks Wrestling. If you guys can go and get her to 100 subs, that would be sick. As we go into SmackDown tomorrow night. We'll need something to celebrate since Roman Reigns will not be on the show, and it's gonna just not feel the same without our tribal chief. So if you can get her to 100 subs, that'd be awesome. And push the network to, I think we're on the road to 1,200. I know Earl and London. We got so many people in the wrestling division that are pushing to milestones like that. London is pushing or is at 400 now, on the road to 500. We got Earl, same thing, road to 500, and of course Mitch's new channel. So just shout out to everyone that is involved with the wrestling division, and Tati and her what she's doing with AEW is awesome. So just big props and big shouts out to to the wrestling division, holding it down here at the Hardcore Sports Network.
All right, man. Definitely, everyone, go ahead and support everyone on the Hardcore Sport Network. Definitely get Martina up to 100, and let's keep growing the channel. She does some phenomenal work. I mean, I watch her and Nick, and they had me crying, man. They had me crying, and it was late night too, and I was just like, yeah. And I'm usually up late night sometimes,
That is what we do. Post bell has become the other day. I mean, we've two back-to-back episodes now. We've gone like 3.5 hours, and Mitch was texting me the other day. He's like, how long does it take to wrap up SmackDown? I'm like, oh, we get that done in like an hour, and then we just have Cody slander. Basically it's like his MK lounge. It's just Cody slander. So it's a lot of fun. We definitely appreciate you jumping in towards the end, like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. I mean, it was, I mean, we're having a lot of fun. We're definitely having a lot of fun.
Well, you're not the only one I've done that to. There's a couple other streams that I've jumped into, and they're going to sometimes 3 o'clock in the morning. So, and I'm in there. So it's like, and they'll put me right to bed, and then I'm back up at 6 o'clock in the morning every day. So it's like, second nature for me. So you're welcome, Martina. You're definitely my pleasure. So to support you, just like you're here supporting us. So, and as a quick update, New York is up by 2 in the third quarter, 5 minutes left in the third, 44-42. And they missed the layup. So New York's on the run. So, but that's going to be it for today's show. Thanks to everyone for being here. Martina, Unpopular Opinion Sports, Man Cave, Charles Adderley, Chad, Wesley, Mitch, Daniel Berry. You guys have been phenomenal. We really appreciate you guys, and look forward to bringing you another great full court press show. So again, for Nick, for Randy, and for the Hardcore Sports Network, I'm Coach Ed. Thanks you everyone for being here. You guys have a great night, and we'll see you soon. Peace.